just continuing the polyamory or monogamy conversation. So what happens so often in monogamous relationships is people cheat, or people get bored and they lose interest and they want more. And because of what they've signed up to in this monogamous arrangement, they end up stifled, unable to get their needs met, or very few of them met, and then unable to meet a lot of the needs of the other person. So, two things happen: that you either get a split, or you get cheating, or very, very rarely in these situations you get the two people that are open and are kind of aware enough to consciously choose to experience things with other people. But it's all done out in the open, it's all on the table, and that's a lot healthier. So, this is another aspect of conventional relating between us, where we don't communicate, we don't get our needs met, and so we have to cheat, we have to find other ways to have what we want, to find fulfillment in different ways, or to experience new things. So, it's a tricky subject, this, but I think it's like it's just a dose of truth as much as anything else. I see this in my life, I've seen it with so many people. I've done it, when I was younger, and what are our options? And it's really something to think about, because if we are the kind of person that needs that kind of variety and different experiences, and we find it really difficult being in monogamous relationships, then for me we need to open this conversation out more, and help people find ways of having a healthier lifestyle with the right people in it. But that takes inner work, it takes a desire to work on the self, and to talk about our issues and our feelings, and to also start to identify and get clear on what we actually want out of life, what we actually want for ourselves. What people do we want, what kind of dynamics do we want, what kind of relating do we want? These are all questions that we need to ask, and it takes work, and to break away from that programming and to undo that programming from childhood, which says, well, you're just supposed to be with one person, that's it, anything else isn't really on the table, and people are going to judge you for it, so don't bother anyway. And so it takes a lot. But like I said in my last video, this trend is continuing, and as this becomes more accepted in society, certainly in the Western world, it's going to become more accepted to talk about this stuff and to open up more, and to therefore, it's going to be easier for people to create the life and build the life that they actually want, rather than the one that they've been told they should have. So there's one other point I wanted to make though about polyamory, which is I think us humans can find escapes anywhere, and there is sometimes a downside to being with multiple people, is that we can surface skim with lots of different people and then not actually get into the deep, sometimes unpleasant, difficult, painful parts of ourselves that we are able to heal with other people, in the mirror. So it's actually a really powerful process doing that, and in monogamous situations, that does happen if people are aware and conscious enough. But yeah, in poly there is a risk of, you surround yourself with different people and you surface skim, emotionally with all of them, and you can end up alone still and kind of disconnected. So that's like the lower end of it, really. So I'm not really, I'm saying that that's there and we have to be aware of that, and to try and bring ourselves up to a higher plane when we're living our life this way and building our life this way, because I do believe it can bring a lot of healing and a lot of growth, and a lot of understanding, which is what we all need, and nurturing and compassion and all that other stuff, and love, of course. So yeah, that was my part 2. I wanted to share that as well. Hope that was helpful.